Obviously, this is their 7th loss of the season. And we know there's no gimme games in the NFL, right? But like you said, there are winnable ones, such as the Panthers. And unfortunately, today was also a winnable game. But is there anything you think that maybe needs to change right now? Like, what would you do if you were Todd Bowles? What would you change right now moving forward going into next week?
They've got to find a way to, and this really isn't Todd Bowles because he's the head coach, but Dave Canales has got to find a way to really up the efficiency in the red zone, right? Settling for field goals when you're down inside the 10-yard line too many times. That has to change. And you saw the difference between the Colts being able to do that today and coming out on top, and the Buccaneers not being able to do that and coming up with another loss. So scoring 20 points in the NFL is not going to get it done on a week in and week out basis. They've got to find a way to put more points on the board, 24, 26 points a week. And then Todd Bowles' defense has got to do its job, because even with 26 points, that wouldn't have been enough today. They've got to come up with more takeaways. They've got to do a better job of stopping the run. And then when they have opportunities to get to the quarterback, they've got to get home. Only 2 sacks today, 3 quarterback hits. And you compare that to what the Colts were able to do with 9 quarterback hits and 6 sacks, including that sack fumble at the end. And that's the difference, not just in today's game, but Aileen, week in and week out going forward. If they don't put in the type of performance that the Colts had today, they're not going to win hardly any more games down the stretch.
Well, speaking of performance, Mike Evans, he scored all of their touchdowns today. What did you like from, I guess, the way they utilized him today? Do you think they need to do more of that? I mean, it's obviously a lot of times, they're double teaming him or Chris. I think Chris only had 2 completions going into the third. So what did you think about the offensive plan today?
Well, at least Dave Canales started off throwing to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin right out of the gate. That was a good start. Mike is the touchdown producer, and they have to continue to do that. And Mike has really been the offense this year for Tampa Bay. That has to continue. He's on his way to getting a 1,000-yard season again, which is great for himself and for Buccaneer fans that enjoy watching Mike Evans play. And you have to ask yourself, can the Buccaneers not afford to re-sign Mike Evans? What would this team look like without him? What would this offense look like without him? It certainly wouldn't be better next year. So I think that Mike Evans wants to stay here, and he's putting up the type of season that's almost going to demand the Buccaneers meet his market value and pay him to stay, because they don't have a competent number one to step in and fill that void in terms of the touchdowns he produces, the big plays. Chris Godwin's a steady Eddie, but he's not the dynamic touchdown machine that Mike Evans is.